Assalamu alaikum all. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So today I am going to speak about the social ills and remedies regarding to Risale-i Nur. So I think many of you know me already because we meet at the other places. My name is Elmira. I live in Malaysia. I am teaching history and civilization at the International Islamic University, Malaysia. So let us discuss about social ills and remedies according to Risale-i Nur. But before going there, something is very important when we are discussing about how Badiüzzaman Said Nursi was finding the social ills and bringing some remedies according to the Quran. Because this is why usually the scholars who are studying his bibliography and his life, they are dividing his life into three main periods. It was classically we were studying in a such way. We were discussing Old Sayyid, New Sayyid, and the Third Sayyid, right? But these are how it was actually the response to the happenings was slightly different. How it was different, for example, in the beginning during the Old Sayyid time, there was the war, the First World War time, he was very actively taking part in jihad. And he was also taken as a war prisoner by Russians. But later, during the New Sayyid time, he was talking about jihad ma'nawi, and he was writing Risale-i Nur. But later in the Third Sayyid time, it was again slightly different, his approach. How it was happening, because everything in Turkey was changing. In the beginning, there was the Young Turk Revolution, and there was the last days of the Caliphate also, Osmanlı Caliphate or Ottoman Caliphate. After that, there was the abolishment of the Sultanate and the Independence Wars time. Later, it was the establishment of the Republic of Turkey. But subhanallah, in such way, Badiüzzaman Said Nursi, he was going through different historical happenings and the social and the political happenings, and he was able to give the different responses and giving the examples. So it is why it is for us is very easy to see, and it's very rich how he was responding, because he was having the different things in his life, different happenings, sometimes peacetime, sometimes wartime, sometimes living under the Caliphate, later under the Turkish Republic, and he was giving responses. So we have many examples. So when we are discussing about social ills, we are just not putting them into the generalized things, but social ills sometimes are changing according to historical context. That was I wanted to mention before starting the speech. Then what are social ills according to Risale-i Nur? But mainly, he started already talking about the social ills in his Damascus sermon, and it was happening during the time of the Ottoman Caliphate. He was in 1911. He was in the Damascus sermon when he was giving the khutbah in the Umayyad Mosque. He was mentioning 6 illnesses. So let me read, because for us it's very easy to see from his own writings of the Badiüzzaman Said Nursi. I am just reading, you can see it on the screen. In the conditions of the present time in these lands, it means in the lands of the Muslim world, I have learned a lesson in the school of mankind's social life, and I have realized that what has allowed the foreigners, Europeans, to fly towards the future on progress, while it arrested us and kept us in respect of material development in the Middle Ages, are 6 dire sicknesses. So here he is mentioning in the Damascus sermon that what are the main reasons for us for being colonized by Europeans, and at the same time, keeping us, the Muslims, in the Middle Ages. It means no any progress, no any developments are happening. There are 6 sicknesses according to him, and these are very much related to spiritual sicknesses, and also, but they have the roots also in social difficulties. Number 1 is despair and hopelessness. Number 2, death of truthfulness. Third is despotism. Fourth is the love of enmity. And the 5th is the selfishness. And the last one is ignoring of uniting bonds. And subhanAllah, when I am just looking about this one, I mean, in my classes, in the when I am teaching Islam in the modern world class for my master students in Malaysia, all the time in the beginning of semester, I am giving this Damascus sermon. I am saying, please read it. And I am giving 1 week. And I give this one to read. This is the homework for them. And I am generating some kind of the questions for them as a guideline. After that, I am asking them to write some essay around 2,000 up to 3,000 words. And it is the first time my students, they are mainly international from Arab countries, from Africa. They are seeing some parts of the writings of the Badiouzzam and Sayyid Nursi. After 1 week, in the beginning they are saying, we just started the semester, how it is difficult for us, we have to read it. But when they start reading, they say to me, Madam, can we find the translation into Indonesian, because the English is the language is quite difficult for us. Then I say to them all the time, it's available online, just Google for it. And they start reading, they read 1 time, 2nd time, 3rd time, and they say to me, even in their writings, they say, Subhanallah, Madam, whatever he is talking about 100 years ago, it's exactly the same what is happening today. So I am just telling to them, don't focus on the sicknesses only, because when we are talking about sickness, our main aim is after the diagnosis is to find remedy, right? The medicine. It's why I am saying your main focus is the finding of the remedies. So it is very interesting. What are the solutions? And Badiouzzam Sayyid Nursi is giving framework how to find this medicine. Not only giving, okay, if you are having the selfishness, just finish it. No, he is not doing it. He is giving this medicine, and at the same time, he is giving also, he is guiding the students of Risale-i Nur, or any students who are reading or who are living in our lives, or after us, it will be the most of the things may happen. He is talking about framework, how we have to follow and how we are going to find the medicine. So what is the medicine according to him? Let me start from the first one. Despair and hopelessness is the sickness. It's all the time it's happening in our life, right? Even your PhD life, the master's life. When you are at this academic life, you will be, oh, I am still, this is already 1 year have passed. I am still writing my proposal. I am hopeless. I cannot continue. This is very, common. It did happen to me also. So hopelessness, and this is not only we during the PhD time. All the time we are feeling we are hopeless. Oh, Muslim land is colonized. Muslims are refugees, and we have the extremism and many other ideas. We are the poorest people in the world, especially in Africa. So we are too much disunited. All the time we are focusing on sicknesses, and sicknesses, right? It's why too much focusing on sicknesses are also making us some kind of the feeling of the hopelessness. Even depression starts among us. So it's why, starting from Risale-i Nur, he is not talking about sicknesses only, but he is talking about it in order to motivate people to find the solutions and to believe that this is only temporary. If we are just following the Quran al-Karim and its interpretation, Risale-i Nur, we are going to achieve the real, we will finish this sickness. We will find remedy. Not only we will be cured, especially what is related to social ills. So in Risale-i Nur, he is saying, the future shall be Islam's and Islam's alone. This is to address the hopelessness. And he continues, and its ruler should be the truth of the Quran and belief. Therefore, we must submit to divine determining and our fate of the present, which is that ours is a brilliant future, while the Europeans is a dubious past. Because previously I was bringing another passage from from the Damascus sermon. He was saying, it's why we are colonized by Europeans, because we are having these sicknesses now, isn't it? He was mentioning. Now he is saying, now we are going to have the brilliant future, and we are going to be again leaders in knowledge and in faith, in everything, and our future will belong to Islam. And later he is also saying the truths of Islam are able to progress both materially and in moral and non-material matters, and possess a perfect capacity to do so. So he is mentioning here the difference, later I will bring also the other examples. So the Europeans are having the progress, material progress, but Quran has ability to bring also moral and non-material matters. It's why future supposed to belong to Islam. So this is what is the medicine for the despair, hopelessness is hope. So he is showing how we have to, this is the framework, how we have to work with the difficulties. If we are talking about religious extremism today, we are just talking about it, we are bringing a lot of the examples, very statistics, right, very scary statistics, and we are not much focusing on what are the remedies for us. We are just blaming our governments, we are giving all the blame to the higher level, but on the level of society, we are not much bringing the medicine or the framework to heal it. So he is saying we have to spread hope. And this is not only my job of the spreading hope, this is also the task of the young scholars like you, and you have to spread the hope. So this is we have to bring the positive things, like today the Firinji Bey was speaking about harakat, the musbat harakat, the positive action or the acting positively. These are the things what we have to spread more. So, okay, the second sickness was the death of the truthfulness. Of course, is the medicine will be truthfulness and honesty. To the despotism, the medicine is the mutual consultation. Love of enmity is the sickness. Remedy is love of loving. So we have to love what is love, but we have to hate what is the hate. I mean, we are not hating anyone, but we are hating spreading of hatred and other things. Selfishness is, of course, working for each other, being united, and solidarity, compassion. And Risale-i Nur is very much talking about compassion, how it can change the world, how it can change our hearts and make us positive, and also the true solidarity. So these are the 6 medicine. We didn't achieve much any of them. So when we are going to achieve this one, and there will be the future will belong to the Islam according to Badiuzzzaman Sayyid Nursi. So this is about the social ills. And also I was mentioning to you to discuss about how foundations of civilization is very important when we are talking about societies. He was in Risale-i Nur, this is the examples are from mainly I will bring from the flashes or from the part of the Risale-i Nur. He is talking also about modern civilization and Quranic civilization. Because in the beginning I was mentioning that Badiuzzzaman Sayyid Nursi said Europe is now living in the modern, very progress world, but we are still living in the Middle Ages. But still he believes the Quran is the truth of Quran is much higher than giving the progress only, because according to him, the European or the modern, let us not to say the European civilization, modern civilization is based, according here, is on 5 foundations. Because it's very interesting. Usually when we are talking about the European civilization or Western civilization, we say, but Badiuzzzaman Sayyid Nursi was saying it, the modern civilization, very seldom he was mentioning European, because according to him, European civilization is about foundations are Christianity. It's based on Christianity. He was not, he was really wanted to work together with the Christianity, with the foundations of the working together. According to him, this is the European civilization is based on Christianity, but he is here criticizing modern civilization, which is not talking about religion at all, but it's based on the 5 negative principles or the foundations, not principle foundations. These foundations are using force and aggression all the time. Everything is based on aggression. We are trying to find conflict everywhere, class struggle, or the white man's burden. Too many things, isn't it? We have many of our ideas and the ideologies are based on the force, aggression, and other things. And number 2 is self-benefit. Self-benefit, sorry. So self-benefit is mostly, we feel it mostly related to economic principles today. Because the main modern economic principle is what is the main economic principle? Because sometimes we have to interact, otherwise you will be not able to listen, isn't it? What is main economic principle today? Can you, any of you can tell? Interest. What is the, interest means the riba? Why we need riba? What is the main principle? Okay, interest is some kind of tool, right? It is a tool of achieving something. On what is best today? It is not only the, I want to tell it, the modern economic system. It's not only European, it's or Islamic, not the Islamic, in the Muslim world, what we have is also the same. It's about profit maximization. We are trying to maximize the profit. More money, more money, more money, all over the banking system. It might be Islamic or the non-Islamic, all are based on the making more money, profit maximization. We are trying to make our profit more and more and more. This is the totally different from the barakah, concept of the barakah. Barakah is that you are having something efficient and it will be enough for many people, like the Muhammad said, what is the food for 2 people is enough for 3. What is the enough for 1? It will be enough for 2, right? It's more barakah, more beneficial. But here is the self-benefit. It will benefit only me. It will benefit only my nation sometimes, my country only. But while getting these benefits by hijacking the benefits of other people. So such kind of things are happening in these are because foundation is based on the self-benefit. Number 3 is racism or conflict. Or later I will mention about the nationalism also a little bit, just general idea only. Shukran Wahida was the translating the Risale-i Nur into English, and he used the word of racialism, but usually we use the racism. Racialism is lower than racism, but according to my understanding, it is equal to the negative nationalism. Later I will explain how I understand it, and maybe the others you will, if you have different understanding, like the brother Hussein and others, you can, later we will discuss, okay? So this is, I am just giving how I understand. So everything is based on conflict. We are trying to find conflict. Rich people, poor people, right? It's why the gap is so much widening today. So because we are just focusing on the 2 different extreme sides. We are not focusing, we are not trying to bring the people into the middle. Like why we have zakat, for example, in Islam, and Badiüzzaman is bringing this example for several times in different parts of Risale-i Nur, in order to benefit poor people. But usually today still the gap is widening too much because of these foundations. It's not because of Islam. It's not because of Muslims. Because foundations are of the modern civilization are based on such kind of things. And the last desire is this all the time desire. These things are an enmity and conflict I also mentioned. So these are the 5 foundations of modern civilization. I don't know. I think most of our Muslim countries are living in this on the basis of this modern civilization. Sometimes I ask for my students, to which civilization do we belong? In Malaysia. They say, oh, Malaysian civilization. I say, no, we don't have civilization in Malaysia. We don't have any civilization. We are a part of some civilizations. After discussing, we realize that we are a part of the modern civilization because we have virtues, we have Quran, but the foundations is not the principles, foundations, how all the governments are acting, how we are a part of the world banking system, or how we are, or the medical institutions, educational institutions are based on these foundations. We are using Quran, everything is Islamic, but still the foundations are really they are different. What is the Badiüz, according to Badiüzzaman, are the Quranic civilizations foundations. And according to him, the modern civilizations, these 5 foundations are creating 100 sorts of diseases. 100 sorts of diseases. And he is discussing this one in the letters. He is saying that the first, you can see here, it is based on the 5 negative principles: the force, aggression, benefit, conflict, racism, lust, and the lust transforms man into a beast, into the animals. Is how we are having very difficult. And in the also Damascus sermon, in the page 130, if you have time, or I can share the slides later and you can read yourself. Now let us move back to the Quranic civilization. He calls it a Quranic civilization. Not Islamic, not Muslim, but Quranic. These principles, foundations are taken from the Quran al-Karim. And he says, if the modern civilization is based on the force and aggression, the yellow color there, in Quran, foundation is based on support. We are supporting each other. And instead of having the self-benefit, everything is based on justice. We don't care what will happen. It will benefit myself, or it will benefit my family, or my wife, or my children. Everything is supposed to be based on justice, according to him. So if the modern civilization is based on the foundation, which is called the racism and conflict, but here in Islam in the Quran is security. Security of all human beings. Later I will explain this one. And also there is no any in the Quranic civilization, one foundation is called virtue. This is the pink color here. But in the modern is the lust, desire. Now you can see the difference. And enmity, conflict, in Quranic it will be love. Love for the love, loving, passion, compassion, and also the supporting each other. So these are the foundations of Quranic civilization, which is mentioned in Risale-i Nur. And he says this is the will of happens, because the main aim now, we are talking too much about a lot about the maqasid al-sharia today, isn't it? Especially in Indonesia, in Malaysia. Last year, around 2 years ago, we were speaking about moderation. Now it's different. We are talking about maqasid al-sharia. Even in my university, whatever research we are doing, it's supposed to be based on maqasid al-sharia. Whatever article we are writing, it's supposed to be based on maqasid al-sharia. So maqasid al-sharia are 5, according to other or main understanding. But usually we don't go beyond. Why we need these 5 maqasid al-sharia? Only one thing. Or why we need what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to see through this maqasid al-sharia. It is happens, and the happens of human beings. Not only happens, qana'a, sakina. This is very difficult. Some the words, some the English terms is very difficult to, the Arabic words is very difficult to explain in English. Even the translate. The happens is very simple. Sometimes, or in philosophy they use felicity. Felicity is higher, is bigger. The scope is bigger than the happens. Happens is quite self-oriented, or quite personal feelings. But here is the qana'a, sakina is all related to the spiritual happens in your heart. So you are so much satisfied, you feel so pleased, and you will have the sakina. So here, Badiuzzzaman Sayyid Nursi, when he is talking about happens or the Sa'ada, he is talking about such kind of the level of the satisfaction of the human soul. So here also, he is writing about, I found about the foundations or the principles of Quranic civilization. These are the positive one, he says, in the flashes, the page starting from 745 until 746. So he is in the last he is saying that these are the last sentence here. He is saying that the marks of these bonds are sincere brotherhood, general well-being, defense in the case of external aggression. So if we are going to base our societies on these 5, the Quranic foundations, we are going to have the sincere brotherhood, general well-being, and defense when it is needed only. So what is the... Today, you are asked too many times, isn't it? Okay, because all of you, almost all of you are writing the thesis on Risale-i Nur. In the proposal defense time, you are asked, okay, what is the relevance of Badiuzzzaman Sayyid Nursi's Risale-i Nur to modern times? This is one of the main questions the lectures are asking from you. So it is very interesting because we were having some discussions with the sisters, and they were also before, right? The mentioning sister said, it's amazing that in Risale-i Nur we can, the 100 years already passed, we can find the remedies to many things, almost all of the things what is happening today, and it will continue forever, because this is the tafsir of the Quran al-Karim, and this is also what is very interesting. Badiuzzzaman Sayyid Nursi, this is not just tafsir. This is not just tafsir, because it is the tafsir according to modern times with a specific social needs, because he is very much focusing on the social illnesses, social needs, because we have the social strata, social different groups, like we have elderly. Because my problems, I am not much elderly yet. Maybe if we are going to be at the age of the 70, our understanding of the world will be different, because we grew up in different times. Even my worldviews are totally different from yours, because you are having different challenges. It's why he is not just writing for one, only for the general. He is focusing differently, because when we are young, we will understand in one way, but when we are becoming elder, we are getting more knowledge. Not only knowledge, we are getting wisdom, hikmah, because of our life experience. So our understanding, our problems, and the problems, what are bothering us, what are making us confused, are going to be totally different from young people. So he was writing for elderly. He was writing for women. The issue of women we are going to discuss afternoon today. And for children. Children are totally different, subhanAllah, from even the young people, youth after that, and the sick people. So these are he is showing how the Quran, and we are able, when we are speaking to different social stratum, there the interest is different. It's why our approach is supposed to be different. This is how I understand it. And also today for us, why Risale-i Nur is very important today also, especially in Indonesia, because most of from Indonesia and Malaysia is not because I am living in Malaysia, I am speaking about this one. In Turkey we can feel, okay, Risale-i Nur is very relevant to Turkey, because he was living in Turkey, all these problems are the problems which can be found in Turkey, right? But what is the relevance to Malaysia or Indonesia or Bahrain or Jordan, for example, today? Yes, we are the Muslim world, but we are today divided by the nation states, and our problems are totally different. Some our states are living in poverty. Other states are they are very rich countries, but they have different ideas. So it seems for me, maybe because I am the historian, I am trying to see in such way, the main thing, how we can benefit related to the social ills, is very interesting to learn from Risale-i Nur, how we can live as a society with our difference in harmony. This is how I can see it. So because we are different. In Malaysia, for example, we have around 60% of Malays. Then we have around 30% or 25 Chinese, who are mostly Christians and the Buddhists. Then we have also Indians, mainly Hindus. We have Christians, as mentioned, and the Malays are around, the Muslims are around up to 60% only. But how we can learn from Risale-i Nur to live in harmony? This is amazing to learn, because he is giving a lot of the examples, framework, and also remedies. He is showing the problem and says, this is the way you have to follow, and then you will achieve this one. This thing is a solution for that one. And so when we are going to live in harmony, we are going to have the peaceful coexistence. We need a peace. We want peace. Islam is about salam, is about peace. This is supposed to be our main aim, how to learn to live in peace. Human security, this is one of the main problems today, because we don't feel secured. This is not only about what is happening in wars. Human security. You are living in one country. If the citizenship will be, or you are moving to other country, we don't feel secured, right? Because
or even like
emotional security, economic security, spiritual security, a lot of information, Lack of security is happening also, so lack of confidence. Lack of confidence also. These are the main things, are such kind of things are happening. And also happens. We don't feel happy today. Subhanallah. Hoş geldiniz. So we don't feel happy today. Sometimes the people are saying, okay, we have Islam, so we have to feel happy. But we don't feel happy. Something is missing, right? We have Islam, we have medicine, we have this sandalia, we have what is the sandalia? In English, I forgot in English now, subhanallah. Sandalia, okay. Pharmacy, thank you. We have a pharmacy, but pharmacy has a lot of the medicine, right? How we are going to use, we have to put the little bit, take the little bit the drug to this one, after that we have to add another one. It is amazing if you will go to the pharmacy, some of the factories, you can see they are adding a lot of the things. At the end, they are creating something which is really beneficial for the exact sickness. So now we have Quran. This is the main thing to make people happy in this world and hereafter. But we don't know what exactly to use from Quran to be happy. We are all, because of the lack of security, lack of the, we are living in the world of the confusion because a lot of the information is coming, a lot of the ideas, too many things, and we don't feel happy today. It is, we have to force ourselves to feel happy today, especially young people. I know it because I work with many students. So how we can learn from Risale-i Nur to be happy? This is, Risale-i Nur is not giving to you. You are reading Risale-i Nur, you will be happy. No, you are learning there. This is the framework, this is the guidance you can learn. So, because the problems, these are the ills of the modern civilization. It's why I was bringing in the beginning of the talk about foundations of modern civilization. Conflict, racism, self-interest, desire for lust, right? These are, now we have these problems today. Civil wars. It's why I say it, not only Muslim world, also not only the Western world. Muslim world is also based on the foundations of modern civilization today. We are a part of the modern civilization because we don't know how to use the Quran in a right way. Maybe in the way how it's supposed to be because of the many reasons. We have the genocides. Many things are happening. We are seeing a lot of the refugees in the countries because of this genocide, civil wars, and the human suffering. If you are opening the Facebook or the Instagram, everyone is suffering. You feel very sad, right? Because we are too much focusing on negative things today. We are not focusing on the positive things. Also, maybe this is the choice also. Hunger, violence, terror, hatred, racism, radicalism, Islamophobia, lack of morality, lack of virtue. Even the education system in Islamic universities are based on the modern education system. They are not talking about morality-based education. They are not talking about virtues. I mean, there is no integration together. In one class, we are studying about Islam. Other class, we study the class based, the topics based on the modern explanation of education. At the end, we are not learning how to integrate, how to be a beneficial and a happy person. It's why Badiuzzzaman Said Nursi was mentioning about the integration of the sciences, modern sciences, is not only modern science, is the modern development of science, because science is not modern. Science was started from the very beginning of the human, the life on the earth, starting from Adam alayhi salam. So he was talking, we need integration all the time. We have to put together. We have to put together with Quran, and also the modern developments, what are beneficial for human beings. And also another thing also, what is the answer? I was mentioning to you about the moderation, right? It's why I am affected by the Malaysian, the understanding of the world. All the time I put also here moderation, because in the Quran, the Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam also say it, that the best way is the middle way, right? We call it the moderation. Some people call it the wasatiyah. Moderation is the trying to be something moderation today in some countries, especially in Turkey. Moderation, people understand something like very close to the, how to say, the free liberal understanding. No, in Malaysia, understanding is totally different, because moderation means we are not exceeding, we are not the extreme in something. Moderation, we are doing something in some kind, in the moderate way. It's more of the moderate is a Islamic in our understanding here in Turkey, but moderation something negative understanding. But in Malaysia, we don't differentiate. So it's the middle way. When I say the moderation, please understand it. Maybe sometimes I am saying moderation in the, because of the, like the, how in Malaysia they understand it. So according to Bediüzzaman Said Nursi, this moderate way is the Islamic way of life, nature of Islam, way of achieving happiness, pleasure and balance, and also key to social and political stability, success and true civilization. He is talking about true civilization, which is based on these 5 foundations mentioned in the Quran. So these are the, I will share with you later, all this is the passages from the Risale-i Nur, and I was mentioning to you about one sickness foundation, why we have the religious extremism today. So this is the, I have some the projects on extremism, and I benefited a lot from Risale-i Nur, because his explanation, Bediüzzaman Said Nursi's explanation of the social ill of extremism today. This is not only political ill, what we are having extremism today. It is the, because Western world is talking too much about extremism. Yes, we feel that we are not very much interested in extremism. But I am having one grant today, in these days, from the Ministry of Malaysia, and we did survey among the Malaysian public, only Muslims. So we were so surprised to see, we were asking different questions. These are the mostly educated people having the PhDs. So we found out that if we are going to compare it, what did happen 10 years ago, now understanding of the Malays, this is the Malay Muslims who are the Malays, is totally, I mean, their understanding became quite extreme now, Islam, forcing other people, for example, the non-Muslims, not to come to the mosques or not to use the name of Allah in their writings. There are understandings, it shocked us after this one. So this is the reality. So what Bediüzzaman Said Nursi was mentioning about, he said extremism, there are only 3 causes for conflict, extremism and other things, mainly extremism. Number 1, ignorance. Number 2, poverty. Number 3, conflict or disunity. These are all outcome of the, if we are using the foundations of the modern civilization. So solutions, he said, solutions will be right education in order to elucidate ignorance, and providing well-being of society in order to eliminate poverty, and establishing peace and security in order to finish conflict and disunity.
Sorry.
Yes, please.
Do you use extremism as despotism?
Not extremism is the extreme understanding. I don't remember what was mentioned in the Quran. Maybe someone was the Dr. Nafi, because I took it from the Shukran Wahida's the translation, and she translated as extremism.
I mean, is it done in Arabic? Do you use that or?
No, in English. No, in English. She translated. I can write to you. I can find what is the, then I can, even today in the evening, I can give to you from the which part of the Risale-i Nur this one, because she was using extremism. So after that, Bediüzzaman Said Nursi, he is saying these are going to be the eliminated. How we are going to use it? Solutions there. What is the framework? Musbat harakat, positive action, and having true iman. These are the how I understood from Risale-i Nur. So the yes.
Concepts are ifrat, tefrit, the istiqamet.
Yes.
So extremism.
Yes.
Ifrat and tefrit.
Yes. I will. In English is the maybe the Hussein, the brother Hussein. You remember in English how he was the how it was the mentioned in original. I will find it, maybe afternoon or I will find, even in my laptop I have it, but I will respond to this there, okay? Inshallah, I will do. So after that also in one of the main social ills is also about, for him is because of disunity, right, and the conflict, and also milliyetçilik. He was mentioning about it, what the Shukran Wahida was translating as a nationalism or racialism. But actually for Bediüzzaman Said Nursi, he was dividing nationalism into two. Positive nationalism and also negative nationalism. For positive one is based on moderation and serves the ideal of Islam. And this is the cause of mutual recognition and assistance. But the negative one is the causes extremism, violence, and enmity. And in Maktubat, Bediüzzaman Said Nursi wrote, negative nationalism, which considers a particular race to be superior, higher than other, or if you are from Malaysia, you cannot the Bumiputra, right? This is what the Bediüzzaman Said Nursi is mentioning here, is that one race is superior than other, or giving priority to race over religion. This is what we are seeing when we are having sometimes the secular states and other things, and the ideologies, because so now race or ethnicity becomes the higher the union or the unity. So it is, Bediüzzaman Said Nursi says, such kind of things are inauspicious and harmful for our societies. Sorry. It is nourished by devouring others, persisting through hostility to others, and is aware of what is going. It is the case of enmity and disturbance. So according to him, he decided into two, right, the nationalism, when it is the natural, because we are divided into different, we are divided into different ethnicities. We call it ethnicity, millat, millah. Millah usually in history was the mention about the religious community. Now millah we are using because of the nationalism became one of the main foundations of the modern states. Millah for us is related to ethnicities. We have the different ethnicities. But according to Bediüzzaman Said Nursi, these ethnicities are only considered for the knowing each other and helping each other, for differentiating. But his main thing is what he said, the main idea is that our society, in order to have the healthy society, unity is the main foundation. Unity is the main foundation. So it's why in two places, in the several places, he is bringing two different examples, how the Muslim society is working. He says, for example, from the flashes I am reading, each of his members of the Muslim society or the community, completes the deficiencies of the others, wills their faults, assists their needs, and helps them out in their duties. Otherwise, man's life would be extinguished, his spirit flee, and his body will be dispersed. It means all the time we have to be united, and because when we are united, we are completing each other. He's bringing two examples. Number one is the body. Later also okay, let me discuss here. He says Muslim society is like one human body, like the organs. We are different organs. All over the organs or the body parts are having different function in our body. If the organ is sick, then other organs also become sick, right? They are going to be affected. So he says this is the Muslim society. Any human society is like this. Another one is he is bringing example of factory. If there is the one factory, there are many machines. If one machine in the big factory is going to revolt, he says not working, so all factory will be affected and there will be no any proper working in the factory. So he wants to see, this is unity according to Bediüzzaman Said Nursi. For him, unity, usually we see unity. Unity we are saying, we are coming to the conferences, we are speaking, and after that we say, oh, we are united. But according to Risale-i Nur, unity is not something artificial or done for the showing off or other purposes. Unity is supporting each other for the higher real unity. So we have to support each other. If the small body is having any problem in our societies, for example, there is the Turkey, Albania, or other countries, if some country has a problem or some society has a problem, others are supporting in the terms of the hunger or the problems. And so how is the unity supposed to be? Okay, let me move. I have quite a big number of the slides, but the reasons for this unity I am skipping, because this one, if you have any questions, you will ask from me later. Inshallah, we will discuss it. But what is unity for him? Because usually when we are talking about unity, we are just talking about unity among Muslims only. This is all the time we are talking unity or ummah, but we are forgetting other parts of our society who might be the non-Muslims or the non-believers at all, because for him the unity of the all. So he says the humanity being divided into ethnic groups and tribes should lead to the mutual acquaintance and assistance, but not to antipathy and mutual hostility. It's why he says, because why we had the World War first and the problems, because disunity among us, disunity among human beings, not only disunity among Muslims, but disunity among all human beings, because the foundations are, if you remember, I was mentioning about foundations in the beginning, because foundations are based on negative things, not the positive, the ideas. So thus, Badiüzzaman Said Nursi called for a healthy unity of the Ummah and entire humanity, and follow the path of the moderate path, I am changing here, as a principle in dealing with others. Others here, the other people. So, if the relations among Muslims supposed to be based on unity, equality, and moderate attitude. These are the three principles. Then he said because it's very, we can see this one, how his response, when he responded to the Sheikh Said of Palo in 1925, when there was the revolt, right, the Kurdish revolt, because he was asked if some of the students, you don't know this is the incident, he was asked to give the hands, but he was mentioning, no, we cannot revolt against government. This is totally unacceptable, because he says, the struggle you are embarking on will cause brother to kill brother and will be fruitless. For the Kurds and Turks are brothers. The Turkish nation has acted as a standard bearer of Islam for centuries. It has produced millions of saints and given millions of martyrs. The sword may not be drawn against sons of Islam's heroic defenders, and I should not draw mine. So this is his main idea. Islam is the main foundation, and other things, what is disuniting us, are the very temporary. But the ideas related to non-Muslims significant, very significant. So all the time he is asking to act against non-Muslims tolerantly and peacefully. It's supposed to be based on friendship and sympathy, because the way of Islamic union is love. Its enmity is only for ignorance, poverty, and strife. Thus, he invited all people of the religious communities, from the Christians and the Jews of the world, to be united against two things: secularism, atheism. Later, also in the late stage of his life, he started talking about communism, because communism became really the threat for the human progress and the human happiness during his time. So these are enmities. So he said, all of the religious people of the world, we have to be united and be united for the positive things, not united for fighting, but united for the spreading of the goodness and spreading of the knowledge and the positive action, and it's why he was calling it jihad ma'nawi. And also I found very interesting the comparison, not the example, all the time I use also in my classes. I am reading it. The Europeans are crushing Muslims under their tyranny with the weapons of science and industry. He is responding this one because the students were asking about should we have a jihad against the colonial powers, about jihad. So he said, the Europeans are crushing Muslims under their tyranny with the weapons of science and industry, not much military only. And we are seeing the results today. We, said Nursi, should therefore wish jihad with the weapons of science and industry on ignorance, poverty, and conflicting ideas, the worst enemies of upholding the word of God. So it means instead of the fighting, making jihad against colonial powers, let us to have jihad ma'nawi against ignorance, poverty, and conflicting ideas. And improve all the science industry, then we are going to be the best nation, inshallah, and it will be immediate, it will solve the problem by its own. Yes, yes, please.
Do these words exclude jihad with a sword?
No.
In the case of
Okay.
of a particular
Okay, let me, this is my understanding, okay? Because the, how I understand from Risale-i Nur, from his life also, as I mentioned in the beginning of my talk, when there was the real time for jihad, when the World War first time, he asked to go to fight for jihad. This is not jihad ma'nawi, this is by sword. He wanted to defend the country and also Muslim world from Russians, right? He went, he was fighting. It means here he is talking about, I think it's about, I can bring here about the historical context. What things are happening? He was giving the solutions, different types of solutions. He is not, for me, he is not nullifying jihad by sword. I don't understand like this, because in his life, as I mentioned in the beginning, subhanAllah, many things were happening, the historical, the occurrences were happening, and he was giving different responses. It's how we can also understand from that. This is not the rigid response only. One time he was going to the jihad. Other time he was not. He said, right? We don't like to speak about it, but he said, may Allah protect me from siyasa, from the politics. But later, we cannot say, even the last year we were discussing, long discussion about, did he really say it, I'm against the politics or not? With the Professor Colin Turner, we were having long discussion. Then we decided, no, it was not like this. He was responding to the happenings. He was very, how to say, can I say among the most wise men, and he was giving the real, because of the true understanding of Quran al-Karim. Because in the Quran also we have the different responses to the different happenings. One time, even the Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, people were coming and asking, what is the best action for me? He was giving the different responses, right? It is according what is really happening, what are the main conditions, or it is the best thing. What is the best thing now today? This is again going and having the fighting against the colonial power, or increasing. What is the main priority? I understand as a priority here. What is priority for Muslims? This is going and just fighting, or increasing their ability, their skills, the life conditions, and by its own they are going to be equal to the Europeans, or even the higher. After that, these problems are going to be totally eliminated, as I understand this one. This is not talking about we have to be very peaceful, we have to be, otherwise it will be very apologetic. We don't want to be apologetic, because according to Quran is about dignity, about the virtue. If we are too much apologetic, we are saying, no, we are afraid to fight, or we are, please, I want peace from you, please be kind to us. I mean, in the relations with non-Muslims or others. So what will be? We are going to be so like the slaves of other people, because Islam is about human dignity. Islam came to dignify women, sick people, elderly, children. It's amazing to see in the life of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's why I think the Badiuzzzaman Sayyid Nursi was writing the different, he was communicating with a lot of people were writing to him in his day. When he was sitting in the exile, he was sitting in prison, he got many, you know about it, isn't it? He was getting the many letters, and he was answering. As a result, we are having, for example, the message to the elderly, message to the woman, because of the response to these letters, because people were asking. I think sometimes he is responding to the conditions, what is happening during his time. So I don't understand this one. He is totally nullifying that, no need to fight. No, this is not the same. So we have to be wise when we are finding some kind of the solutions or the response. What will be our response? So this is supposed to be our response to the happenings and the sicknesses and the difficulties, supposed to be based on our conditions. It's supposed to be based on wisdom. Wisdom of the Quran and wisdom of our what the Ibn Khaldun all the time, we like to mention the historians. Ibn Khaldun, this is the Umran Bashari. He is talking, right, about the responses, because there are sunanullah and also the natural laws. And also it's why the Badiuzzzaman Sayyid Nursi, the French was mentioning today about the two things about Badiuzzzaman Sayyid Nursi, how he understood. He mentioned about this is the natural laws, how we are learning about the Keynote, about our nature. This is the Kitabullah, or the book of Allah, from where we are learning about this one. So this is I think my time is now finished. Yeah, it's finished. It's why I'm not going to the 3 slides. So what I did here, social ills, we have a lot of social ills. So I just collected all of my ideas. It's why sometimes I am not having this to support this, all of some diagrams, isn't it? Because these are in other places. Because I published many articles and also book chapters. I presented some papers and also my master thesis on the unity of Muslims according to Risale-i Nur. So these are just my understanding. But your understanding is totally different, because your historical background, your educational background, where you live, what are your problems in your countries. And this is the amazing of unity. This is the one side of unity, how we are coming together to help each other, to share our understanding, to share our ideas. And thank you very much for your listening. And I really appreciate, and also the Said Bey and the others, thank you very much for the invitation. And it's very pleasant to be here. I always, every year, I really like to come here. This is like the one family for me. I am very happy to see even the brother, I know him. So is there something like that I am returning back to my house, to my family. And thank you very much, and hope you will benefit. And inshallah, I will also benefit from you. And assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.